You know, sometimes I wonder if life is just an endless loading screen, a game where you will never really reach the next level. You'll just keep respawning over and over and over again. Like Elden Ring without the grace and Call of Duty Zombies where the rounds just don't stop. Life is ultimately a game with no checkpoints. And what does that mean for all of us who are just pressing continue every day? You really ever feel like that? Just grinding and putting in that work, but it's like that XP bar never moves? Like you're in an open world game without a main quest? Basically, that's what this video is about. How life is almost a video game without checkpoints. And what does that mean for all of us who are still pressing continue? I mean, when I first played Elden Ring, I thought I was ready. I knew the basic controls. I've already played previous From Software games before, but the game didn't work like that. It almost like throws you into the world and just says, figure it out. There's no hand holding, no easy mode. It's just you and the overwhelming reality and world. And you know what? It kind of sounds like life. I mean, think of Malenia or the Blade of Miquella. She's one of the hardest bosses in the game, but not because she's cheap or has these weird moves. It's almost because she pushes impatience. If you rush in without a plan, you're dead. If you panic, you're also dead, which means you have to learn, adapt, and push through. And how many times do we have to do that in life? Where we rush into situations without wisdom or without patience and ultimately getting hurt in the process. But like Malenia, life forces us to go through that struggle. Because ultimately, life doesn't pause for you. It doesn't care if you're not feeling well, if you're not ready. Those bills are still going to keep piling up. The expectations will still pile up. I mean, you wake up the next morning and the next round has already started, like Call of Duty Zombies. I mean, you can try boarding up all your windows and reloading your weapons, but ultimately, those rounds are just going to keep coming. And the worst part about it is you don't win. You just have to survive the longest that you can. There's this anime I'm watching called Genesis Evangelion, where Shinji has to decide. In front of him, he sees these robots destroying everything in their path, and he has to make the choice whether to get into the robot or watch everything collapse. However, previous to this moment, he promised everyone he would not pilot another Eva again. But the problem was, he didn't know that he was ready. It's almost like he doesn't know if he even wants to. And isn't that all of us at one point? Standing at a crossroads in life where we just don't know what to do? Ultimately, Shinji's struggle is more than just about piloting that Eva. It's about the weight of the responsibility and the fear of the failure. Now, maybe that's why we love games so much, and maybe that's why we love anime so much. Maybe that's why we put on Neon Genesis and watch Shinji just spiral into dread. Because at least in fiction, there's structure to the chaos. There's a plot. There's a soundtrack that makes the suffering look cinematic. However, in real life, the suffering is just silent, sitting in your room wondering how the next day is gonna go. But here's the thing about playing a game with no checkpoints. That means every second counts. Every choice is permanent. There's no restarting from the last checkpoint. There's no going back and fixing mistakes. Think about it. If we could just reload an old save and fix up every mistake that we've done, nothing would weigh anything. We really wouldn't care that much. It's the fact that we can't go back that makes those decisions worthwhile, and what makes moving forward so important. And yet there are moments where we wish we did have that reset button. Times where everything just feels unbearable. When failure doesn't mean losing a fight, but also losing yourself. In Elden Ring, when you die, you lose everything that you've gathered. But you do have a choice to go and reclaim it. But what about in real life? What happens when we lose something we can't get back? Now, if you're part of the zombies community, you're going to be familiar with the term red screen, where the screen goes red and it's almost like you're literally about to die. Now, once you've hit that red screen, it almost makes everything feel so real. It's almost like the weight of the whole game starts to set in. Or when you're downed and you're crawling to your teammate to get revived. That split-second desperation of trying to hold on to what we've built up until this point. It just feels so real because we've all been there. Trying to reach for help, hoping someone would see the struggle before we disappear. And that's definitely the hardest part about this game we call life. The fact that no matter how strong we are, we might need that revive every once in a while. But the game doesn't pause, and ultimately, people are too busy fighting their own battles to care about yours. So what do? Do we just push through the exhaustion? No, I'd rather say we adapt. Change the way we play. Elden Ring might be brutal, but it's about perseverance. So learn everything each time you die. And when it comes to zombies, just find a way to make it to the next round. Now, this is where the Christian perspective of everything comes in. Because ultimately, if life is a game, God is the ultimate player. The one who sees the full map, sees where every journey leads to. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7 states, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race and I've kept the faith. In Christianity, we're constantly told that our struggles have meaning, that every trial will refine us, even the darkest ones. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11 states, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. It's in those moments where we are given grace, where we find strength we didn't know we had. When we realize that even while we're falling, there's always a hand that's gonna pick us back up. So yeah, life may not have save points. It might just be an endless wave of just nonsense crashing into you. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that's what makes it worth playing. Because in the end, all we can do is press continue. So may God be with you all, and really think about your choices.